The Three Heroes and the Bird. In Japan, there is a famous Zen riddle about the three heroes who ended the Warring States period. The question is simple. What do you do if the cuckoo bird doesn't sing? Oda Nobunaga, the ruthless genius, said kill it. Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the resourceful unifier, said make it sing. But Tokugawa Ieyasu, the model for Toranaga, in the show Shogun, said wait, I will wait until it sings. Today, let's talk about the man who waited the longest and won it all. The name of the ruler, Tokugawa Ieyasu, the real-life model for Toranaga in the series Shogun, was born in 1543 at Okazaki Castle in a region called Mikawa Province. Mikawa was located in central Japan, in what is now Aichi Prefecture. This region was his homeland, the land he would later be forced to fight to control. Today, this area lies just south of Toyota City, the headquarters of Toyota Motor Corporation. Interestingly, 1543 was also the year when firearms were first introduced to Japan by Chinese and Portuguese traders. In feudal Japan, a person's name was not fixed for life. Tokugawa Ieyasu changed his name several times, each reflecting his age, loyalty, and political position. Children used temporary names, called Yomyo, until they came of age. His childhood name was Takichio, but this was not just a cute nickname. It was a hereditary title passed down to the legitimate heirs of the Anjo Matsudaira clan. By carrying this name, he was marked as the true leader from birth. As he grew, his name changed with the political tides. In 1555, at 14, he came of age and became Matsudaira Motonobu, receiving the character Moto from his lord, Imagawa Yoshimoto. 1 year later, he changed his name again to Motoyasu, possibly honoring his grandfather, Matsudaira Kyoyasu. After breaking away from the Imagawa clan, he abandoned the name Moto and became Matsudaira Ieyasu. Finally, at the age of 25, lineage and legitimacy. Then, 1566, he made the ultimate move. He changed his surname from Matsudaira to Tokugawa. This was to claim descent from the noble Minamoto Seiwa Genji bloodline. By adopting the Tokugawa name, Ieyasu claimed descent from the Nitta clan, a Minamoto lineage traditionally regarded as part of the Ashikaga family. He needed this noble lineage to justify his right to rule the entire country. As shogun in Japan, the shogun was usually expected to come from the Seiwa Genji or the imperial family in a world governed by lineage. Claiming Seiwa Genji blood meant legitimacy and power. Without it, one could not stand against great clans like the Imagawa or figures such as Takeda Shingen, born into undisputed Genji prestige. By the time Ieyasu claimed the title of Mikawa no Kami, he had already unified Mikawa by force. But military control alone was not enough. Mikawa no Kami was a court-appointed title, recognizing him as the legitimate lord of the province. For a rising house like the Matsudaira, this imperial recognition was essential to gain obedience from neighboring warlords, and even from his own retainers. The title of Mikawa no Kami was not merely administrative. It was a prestigious office historically held by the Ashikaga lineage. Since the mid-13th century, following the Jokyu War, Mikawa had been a key province governed by families connected to the Ashikaga. For generations, the post was held by branches or close retainers of the Ashikaga. Among them, the Oshima clan belonged to the Nitta lineage. The Nitta were descendants of Ashikaga's elder brother, and in that era, they were regarded as part of the broader Ashikaga family. Lineage was not identity. It was a political tool. It was a strategic rebranding to become the ruler of Japan. Even the Taiko Toyotomi Hideyoshi, who unified Japan by force, could not become shogun. Without imperial lineage, power alone was never enough. A double hostage, his childhood was a nightmare. He was sent as a hostage to a neighboring enemy clan at the age of 6, but he was kidnapped on the way and sold to another enemy. He was a double hostage passed around between the Oda and Imagawa clans, but he was not alone. Young retainers like Kazumasa, Ishikawa, and Tadatsugu Sakai followed him into captivity. He also had a guardian angel. In the Lord's capital, Sunpu, his grandmother, Lady Kyo in Genoni, she was already living there and begged Lord Yoshimoto to let her raise her grandson. For 8 years, she educated him and gave him warmth in an environment that was cold to the young hostage. Years later, Ieyasu renamed a temple Kyo-in to honor her dedication. He never forgot her love. His mother, Odai, was forced to separate from him, but she secretly sent clothes and sweets from afar. When Ieyasu became independent, he brought her to live in his castle and even hired her new husband and sons as his retainers. 3 nightmares. As an adult, Ieyasu faced 3 life-or-death crises, known as the 3 major crises. The first was the Mikawa Iko-Iki. Religious rebels instigated a civil war. Even his trusted retainers betrayed him and fought against him. He was forced to kill his own men. It broke his heart, but made his resolve stronger. The second was the defeat against the god of war, Takeda Shingen. In the Battle of Mikitagahara, Ieyasu was completely crushed. Legend says he was so terrified that he lost control of his bowels on his horse, but he made a painter draw his miserable face to remind himself of this failure. The third nightmare was the crossing of Iga. In the year 1582, a shocking betrayal changed history. Oda Nobunaga, the most powerful warlord in Japan, was assassinated by his own general. Akechi Mitsuhide was the father of Hosokawa Gracia. In Shogun, she is known as Lady Mariko. This is why Lady Mariko's words carry such weight in Shogun. Having lost his strongest ally, Ieyasu was left stranded deep in enemy territory, with only a handful of guards. The situation was so hopeless that Ieyasu prepared to commit seppuku, or ritual suicide. However, his loyal vassals, led by the brave Honda Tadakatsu, tearfully begged him to live. You must survive and return home. Persuaded by their loyalty, Ieyasu chose a dangerous path escape. They chose a route through the steep mountains of Iga, known as the Land of the Ninja. Crucial help came from a wealthy merchant, Chaya Shirojiro, and local Iga ninjas, who pledged their loyalty to protect Ieyasu. This journey was literally a race against death. An ally, Hanayama Nobutada, who took a separate route, was hunted down and killed by armed peasants, seeking rewards for samurai heads. But Ieyasu survived thanks to the desperate fighting of the ninjas, and samurai guarded him. He survived wave after wave of attacks. Miraculously, he made it back to his home, province of Mikawa, alive. It was a moment that tested the man who would eventually rule all of Japan. The giant and the heavens. He survived the nightmares, but a giant stood in his way. Hideyoshi Toyotomi. In the show Shogun, he is called the Taiko. Ieyasu defeated the Taiko's army in battle, but the Taiko had overwhelming numbers and resources. Ieyasu was cornered, but then the heavens intervened. Before the final war, a silent battle had already begun. Toyotomi Hideyoshi did not trust Tokugawa Ieyasu. To weaken him, Hideyoshi turned Ieyasu's closest advisor, Ishikawa Kazumasa, against him. Through this betrayal, Hideyoshi learned the military system, strategies, and even the secrets of the Tokugawa army. Ieyasu understood the danger. If his enemies knew his system, he had to change it. He made a bold decision. The Tokugawa army was reorganized, based on the military system of his greatest rival. and greatest teacher, Takeda Shingen. Discipline, mobility, command structure. The Tokugawa army was reborn. Soon after, Hideyoshi declared war on the Tokugawa. Ieyasu was surrounded. Defeat seemed inevitable, and the heavens intervened. In real history, unlike Shogun, the earthquake saved Toranaga's real-life model, Tokugawa Ieyasu. In 1586, the Tensho earthquake struck Japan. Castles collapsed. Supply lines were destroyed. Weapons, horses, and food were lost. Hideyoshi's invasion force was crippled. The war was abandoned. The earthquake saved Ieyasu's life. Hideyoshi chose control. He sent his own sister, Asahihime, to become Ieyasu's wife. It was not a marriage. It was a political hostage. Tokugawa Ieyasu made the decision to submit and become a vassal of Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the Great Gamble. After the fall of the Hojo clan, Hideyoshi made a dangerous offer. Ieyasu was ordered to abandon his ancestral lands and move to the distant Kanto region. The true goal was clear: to separate the loyal and battle-hardened Tokugawa army from their homeland. To weaken them, if Ieyasu refused, Hideyoshi was ready to crush him with overwhelming force. Most of the Tokugawa generals strongly opposed the move, but Ieyasu accepted. He chose survival over pride. In a small fishing village called Edo, he started again from nothing. This was the true beginning of the city that would later become Tokyo, waiting for the moment. When Hideyoshi died, the Toyotomi government began to crack from within. Ieyasu became one of the 5 regents, the most powerful vassals in the country, but the Toyotomi court was already divided. Administrators and battlefield commanders turned against each other. The leader of the bureaucrats was Ishido Mitsunari. In the series Shogun, he appears as Ishido Kazunari. Ieyasu quietly moved closer to the warrior faction. He did not rush. He did not strike. He waited. In 1600, the waiting ended. At the Battle of Sekigahara, the largest civil war in Japanese history, the future of Japan was decided. The Toyotomi clan remained neutral, but their power was broken. In 1603, at the age of 62, Tokugawa Ieyasu became shogun, but Japan was not yet united. Western Japan was still centered on Osaka Castle. Eastern Japan was ruled from Edo. The final confrontation was still to come. The siege of Osaka would end it all. He eliminated the Toyotomi clan completely. He established the Tokugawa shogunate, bringing 260 years of peace to Japan. The cuckoo sings. Nobunaga died in betrayal. Hideyoshi died of old age and ambition. But Ieyasu waited. He survived the nightmares and waited for the bird to sing. Wait, I will wait until it sings. That implies not just patience, but the strength to survive until the end. That is the true way of the shogun. Don't forget to subscribe.